but now I'm like Hello, welcome to the Initiative Order and our Vampire the Masquerade miniseries, The Auld Towne, a Boston by Night Chronicle, Chapter 3, Fast as You Can. Before we dive back into Boston's ominous nightlife, let's meet our, as always, and possibly forever, wonderful vampires, starting with Tsai.
Hello, I'm Tsai. I've been gone for a bit, but I play in Chou, a double checking here. Speaking has been a while. Tremere, I don't often play Tremere, so sometimes I get them mixed up with their artsy cousins. But Tremere, who sees magic more as a tool rather than some higher calling or arcane secret that needs to be delved into, he's much more interested in the practical applications.
That is a very good way to look at it. Rachel J.
Hi, I'm Rachel J. Wilkinson, and I am playing the Malkavian Jane Dewey, who works in the special archives of a library.
All that wonderful knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Krow.
Hi, I'm Krow. I'm playing your adventure for tonight, and confused, itching for a fight, but also looking at Ro to see if she's gonna throw a flower pot or not. Who knows? I'm looking to find out for a good time.
Touche. Finally, Rachel B.
Hi, I'm Rachel Beauregard. I am playing Roisin Lynch, owner-operator of the Crimson Clover and the most fabulous toreador, at least in her own mind, in town.
Facts are facts. Facts are just facts. Thank you, Rachel B. As for myself, hello, my name's Nate Bushman. I will be your storyteller this evening, as well as delivering you wonderful bass tones for the rest of the night, because I talked too much yesterday. Once again, before we sink our teeth into tonight's chapter, a brief content warning. This is a story of personal and political horror. It incorporates difficult themes that the players portray and play through. Lines and veils have been discussed and are always at the forefront in play. As for you, dear viewer, if anything becomes a bit too much, there's nothing wrong with taking a break and coming back later. And remember, our players are portraying characters. The actions they take in game don't reflect who they are in real life. Without further ado, our story tonight starts in a rather unusual way. Our story tonight starts with a broadcast of sorts. Hello, Boston. You're up way past your bedtime, aren't you? Hope you slipped into something more comfortable. I know I have. If you're new to town or new to this whole podcasting thing, you're listening to The Deb of Night, the only show that's guaranteed to tell you the who, what, where, when, and why of the unexplainable here in the hub of the universe, Boston. Dear listeners, it appears Jack the Ripper is knocking on Boston's door. Reports have come in over the past few weeks about a plethora of murders, most foul. Now, I know the true crime fanatics in the city are going to eat this material up, but what if I told you something about it that seems supernatural? I've heard reports one of the bodies had been exsanguinated. Not a drop of blood found on them. More horrifying is how the body appeared. An empty, flaking husk of sorts. What could cause something such as that? What sort of machinations are in motion in our fair city? Excellent questions. Ones without answers, but soon those answers will be found. I hear there's a crack team on the case. I look forward to their mission reports, as it were, once they're readily available. Until then, dear Boston, this is the Deb of Night. Stay classy and don't stay up too late. With that, let's properly tell a vampire story, shall we? Last session, you were accompanied by Journey Atkins, Harold for the Boston Camarilla, I almost said Camarilla. That's a completely different organization. To Camarilla HQ, located in the back bay at John Hancock Tower, a 60-story monolith of glass. While there, you met April Bosley, the first herald to Prince Everson, as well as Richard Dunham, the Malkavian Primogen, and Sylvia, the bartender at the Red Salon stationed inside the headquarters. As for Aiden, you were whisked away by a member of your clan named Josephine Moreau, who you know is second in command to the Tremere Primogen, Dejan, who you know is currently at the Crimson Clover having a private meeting with someone. Whether this meeting is known about at Camarilla HQ, that is a very good question. She mentioned she had something fun to teach you while you were there, so you got whisked away for some fun tutelage, as it were. The three of you, though, that were not whisked away, Johnny, Jane, and Roisin, you were brought to the prince's chamber, as that was the main reason why you were at Camarilla HQ. Prince Hazel Iverson of Clan Vetru, a woman of many things. One of them is definitely authority. In this meeting, you learned kind of a dark truth that she doesn't want out, as it were. Mortals have been found murdered, or rather mutilated in rather disturbing ways, whether it's limbs completely severed or blood splattered about every which way. These unusual murders are attracting unwanted attention, as you learned when her bodyguard, Delson, threw a second Inquisition agent into the room, on which the prince swiftly kicked them in the face, proclaiming she wanted none of these fucking hunters in her damn city. She also divulged that kindred around the city have gone missing, ones who were not elders being whisked away by what this so-called beckoning is, but ones who were much younger kindred, like maybe not even 10 or 20 years into being kindred. They've all just gone and disappeared. She has some reason to believe these two events are connected. People showing up murdered horribly and the kindred disappearing. Right as you were tasked with this, though, right as you were tasked with this assignment, as well as she gave you one saying, go check on a local Tremere who hasn't been seen in the tower in a few days, both Roisin and Jane weirdly shared the same premonition. And in this premonition, you saw two bodies on the floor. They were ripped to shreds, shredded bone, sinew, torn muscles strewn about in a large pool of blood. And on the floor above their heads, written in blood, was a message that made absolute no sense. Don't worry, be happy. And then off in the distance, you heard that distorted, deep, unnerving sort of singing, as it were, which was, because when you worry, your face will frown, and that will bring everybody down. So don't worry, be happy. And that's when both of you snapped back to it and noticed that your face was wet as you put your hand up to it and realized you had literal crimson tears streaking down your face, which then led to the prince staring at you with utter intensity, saying, I know that look. One other in my court has that so-called sight. What did you see? What happened? What's wrong? And as Hazel awaits an answer, multiple things happen at once. A phone rings. Right as Hazel wants an answer, she walks to her desk and grabs a phone right off it. We're going to discuss what you saw after whatever this call is. Yes. And she looks immediately at Johnny as she has the phone in her hand. Fiorenza, your timing is, as always, impeccable. And she puts the phone down. It's like, we will discuss what the hell you saw after I deal with her. And she walks out of the room. The next thing that happens is the front door to Hazel's office opens, and Aiden walks in along with Josephine, who is looking at Aiden and saying, all right, levitation, probably not the right choice, but shooting sparks out of your hands clearly was. And that's where we start our story tonight. And Delson is in the room with you, but he's basically gone off to cordon off the door that the prince walked through.
I could probably get this stuff down easier if you let me take notes. Like, I'm pretty good with records, getting rid of them. But yeah. Hey guys, what I miss?
A lot, but not a lot. It's hold that thought. You do want to tell me what that was all about?
Oh, looks like my allergies are acting up. I'm just gonna take out like a handkerchief of some kind and start.
As
How about
Aiden,
not
when you
here?
walk in,
How about not here? Just maybe.
yeah, Aiden, when you walk
Right.
in, both Roisin and Jane, their cheek is stained red.
I'm gonna spit on a hanky.
Isn't the spit also?
Technically, yes.
No, I suppose it was. Oh, well, I'm just making more of a mess.
Oh, this makes me uncomfortable. I am going to stand by Johnny. Johnny, what the fuck had just happened?
You know what? After we finish whatever this is, we can rebrief. I don't know, to be
Joseph.
honest.
Josephine walks forward and pulls out a handkerchief. For the context for Aiden, who, just for Tsai's sake, because you were not here 2 weeks ago, so I can explain what Josephine looks like. Josephine has ashen blonde hair, both flowing side to side, but also kind of done up in a professional-looking bun. Thin-rimmed glasses. She has on a dark blue leather jacket of sorts, purple button shirt underneath, thigh-high leather boots that cover quite a bit of her fancy black pants, and this comically large, what could best be described as a grimoire of a book that looks extremely old, like exceptionally old. But what you see her do is she walks up, cradling it in her left hand, somehow pulls out a handkerchief, and just, without even asking, walks up to Roisin and immediately starts cleaning your face. It's like, you've got red on you. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna clean this. And just cleans your face up, and then immediately walks to Jane and does the same thing. That's better.
So, can we go? We all done here?
I'm waiting to be dismissed.
Yeah. Now's not a good idea to just dip on out when the prince is having a private phone conversation.
Oh, I should. Auspex? Can I go walk over to that door, say, "Hey, Nelson, what's going on?"
Actually,
Which power in Auspex do you want to use? Just out of
Heightened
curiosity.
senses, heightened hearing.
I need to read that because I wonder if heightened senses, how well it works through doors. I'm assuming well. I just want to check for context's sake. I don't remember. But I'm not going to say no to that. I will allow it. Please roll wits plus resolve. And it's a difficulty of 3. And Delson does not say a goddamn word. He just stares at you. And just kind of that most atypical bodyguard thing of just, or security look of just, yeah, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm just going to keep you out from going in here.
Okay, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my little notepad, notebook, flip a thing over, and I'm gonna start taking notes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna take any notes on what I'm actually hearing, which is 3 successes. There's no, but there were 3 successes. Instead, I'm just going to write doodly dee 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 dee. Everything is, I'll just write some words and the entire time look like I'm sort of taking notes on him or something. but instead be absolutely listening to what is going on behind that door.
I'm going to say he looks at what you're writing and he just gives this like Malkavians.
It's for the Malkavians. We have to take notes, don't you understand?
Doesn't say a word, just sighs heavily and just looks forward. What you hear, you can hear her having a conversation, but you don't hear who's on the other end. You just hear the prince speak. Yes, Fiorenza. Yes, the situation will be dealt with. Yes, I'm working on it right now. I have a group here who are going to handle it for me.
Could I use share the senses to hear what's on the phone call?
Ooh, I wonder if in what way? Like, are you trying to do it to the prince or with Jane who's listening in and find a way to share senses that way?
What they do, these will retain their own perception to aware. Trying to see
because I feel like that would work.
I also want to see if she would know that I'm doing this. Yeah, okay.
Wait, is this Auspex or perception? I can't remember.
This is Auspex.
Thank you. Well, God, I love combining powers. Let's do this.
Yeah, where's my...
Chaos is the best.
Auspex.
Found it. Share the senses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficulty of 3, so it'd be resolve. It would be roll your resolve plus Auspex. Also, before that, though, give me a rouse check. Because it requires a rouse check. Whether you succeed or not, you can still do it.
Sorry, rouse check is just 1?
Yep, just roll a 1d10 and let me know if it's a fail or success.
Ooh, fail.
Your hunger goes up by 1.
No.
And with that, you can roll resolve plus Auspex. Just make sure you have your hunger dice as part of that roll. So for you, that should be... Because I got character sheets open.
That's 7.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 6.
Okay, guys.
1, 2, 3, 4 successes, including on my hunger dice.
Was any of those a crit?
No, I got a 9.
Okay, that's fine. Who are you wanting to share senses with? Is it Jane, or do you want to try sharing with the prince?
The prince.
Okay, I'm gonna make a roll. Because I need to do that. Give me a second. Because, hey, she also has stats.
That's fair.
That's fair. What's plus resolve? Yep, alright. Give me a second. Alright. I also have 7 dice to roll, so this will be fun. So this is where it gets fun in Vampire, as a fun tutelage moment. Technically, you could be considered the attacker in this. I also rolled 4 successes, but because of that, the victory goes to you. She has no idea you're doing this whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say both of you somehow are clued in on this conversation. It's like, yes, I have a group here. They're handling it right now. Yes. One of them is good old Johnny.
So can I hear what the person on the phone is saying as well? Because I'm sharing her senses.
I will say you hear, yes, I'm going to say you hear a voice that's like, yes, can you please make sure that Mr. Angel contacts me? Because I'm getting really fed up with his games of fuckery. I don't want to send my best man after him. It's not worth his time or effort. It's like, yes, Fiorenza, I will make sure he contacts you. Just for now, please let me conduct business in my city. You stay out of it as best as possible. Thank you. You have a wonderful evening, Miss Iverson. And again, I'll do good things. Solve this for us, because the last thing we need is your city falling in any way, or having to have a new ruler. And she hangs up right as she starts laughing. And because you're sharing the senses, you can feel her bubbling, Hazel Iverson bubbling with a little bit of rage. And you hear a very distinctive thing that you've kind of known Johnny has done, which is you can hear her phone crack ever so slightly. And then you can feel that she's straightening up, and you can tell that she's about to walk in. Jane, you heard only the parts that Iverson said and all that, sadly. And Josephine's kind of looking at both Jane and Roisin, just like, you're being very quiet.
You should try it sometime.
I'm very good at being quiet. And right, she says that, the prince walks back in. Not at all like indisposed as you were able to share those senses with. She looks like she's back to form and is professional. It's like, I'm sorry about that. Johnny, at some point you have to call her. Sorry. I don't know what's going on with you.
I'm not that important. Listen, I run the back of a club. I do a job for you. Not that important. Bottom of the barrel.
That's difficult but with Fiorenza, it's never that simple. If she's caught her eye on someone, she will continue to go after you. Yes, if all of you don't mind checking on that Tremere I mentioned for me. She lives in Harvard Square. I haven't heard from her in a couple nights. Her name is Elif. Like Elif. And then she notices Josephine's in her room, like, this is actually a great opportunity for you, Josephine. You can tell them where she's located, so please go with them. And don't do any of your shenanigans. I already have, and she looks extremely at you, Aiden. I already have one troublemaker in my city. I don't need two.
Just nods, also still partially behind Johnny. Aiden's been told this is the Dark Souls boss, that you need 5 guides, several practice runs, and a lot of help to get past, and you only get the one try, so he knows not to step out of the bounding area.
And you're down to 1 Estus flask too, and it's just like, goddamn. She actually looks at you directly. It's like, Mr. Aiden, you don't have to hide behind Johnny. And also, I will give you the same offer I gave Miss Dewey here. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, by all means, please do. This is not something I normally do for anyone else in the city. Also, you notice, Aiden, by the way, there is a body on the floor that has been brutally kicked in the face. They are dressed in military garb. They look like they were packing heat. Were being dead? The pretense. But yeah.
That he wants that to be a question, but he's not sure if that's overstepping. Gosh. Usually Aiden just likes to lay low, and at least he can claim some kind of didn't know excuse if he does do something wrong, but he doesn't know that only gets him so far, and if he oversteps too much, and he's actually screwed.
She's just staring. She's like, if you want to ask anything, by all means, open book.
Did you have a good day so far? I mean, night? Sorry, still getting used to this.
Also, for context, she is, weirdly enough, dressed exactly like she took a playbook out of Zoe's playbook. She's in an all-white outfit. She's like, I'm having a wonderful night. Truly. Now you realize, Aiden, Josephine's now standing behind you.
Uh-oh.
We don't wish to take up any more of your time. So we can head out and get right on that task.
She walks right up to you. It's like, please do. And also, she puts her hand right on your cheek. You missed a spot. Yes, if you don't mind taking care of this right now, I would appreciate that.
Of course. Shall we? I'm gonna motion everyone. Yes, get the
Yep.
fuck out of here.
Yep.
I
And
want to hold the door
please-
open as everyone's walking out, and so that I'm
Yeah.
the last person, because I just want to say something to her before I head out.
Oh, okay. By all means.
Didn't you used to have like a really nice vase on either side, one of the sides of this door?
She stands there for a second, and then she slowly walks forward. And it feels like it takes forever to get to where you're standing. But she slowly struts forward towards you. It's like the power of sight is a very impressive thing, but also it can be a bloody curse, Miss Lynch. Be mindful of who you like to play coy with. And she gives you a smile.
I was just trying to pay you a compliment on your impeccable interior design. But thank you, as always, for your gracious, magnanimous wisdom, my grace.
Have a good evening. The elevator's right there.
Just so Roisin doesn't get her head lopped off, I think Johnny just comes back around. I did have one more thing. I'll meet you all back at the car. Just gives Rosie the like, please don't get yourself killed.
See you there.
Waves them off and just a facade kind of drops away from him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Fiorenza, how do you want me to approach that?
I personally am not a fan of Fiorenza. She obviously is our kind of new luminary, if you want to use that term. Johnny, just be careful. I know I have power here, and I can only do so much against her. So tread lightly and just be smart. If she's calling, answer your damn phone.
Gotcha. Oh, one last thing. If it turns out to be one of us, how aggressive do you want me to be? Do you want me to be Boston aggressive or where I'm from aggressive?
I trust you to make that decision in the moment, and I am good with either or.
Happy to hear. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go make sure the kids don't blow up the car or something. I don't know. He just walks off.
Before you walk off, she grabs your hand, puts a card in it, and it's like, if you see this number pop up, trust me, it's Fiorenza. Don't not answer.
Understood.
I don't want to have to answer her again like that. And then she
No.
walks off.
And he's going to make his way back to them.
Yep. All of you are still just waiting for that elevator because, again, as I mentioned, the prince's chambers are cordoned off from everyone else. The only way to get there is an elevator that goes up there. So you have to walk past, again, this weird sort of circular sculpture thing in the middle that makes no real sense because sometimes art just doesn't make sense. I'm going to be honest about that. It just doesn't. As you're waiting for the elevator, again, Josephine is standing there with you. And again, she has on, is literally holding a comically large book like this. She just has a smile on her face. She's kind of just whistling a tune for no reason.
I'm gonna try to rub a little shoulder with her, maybe. Just trying to get a glance of that book. Like an idea
It
of how
has-
old it might be, kind of just a.
I would say for you. Let me make this a good roll. I would say intelligence plus occult.
Two successes.
The things you notice about it are there is no title on the book. If there ever was, it's been completely written off over time. The binding of it is a little bit coming off. Like you can tell, like this book has been used a lot, so it's just more of over time, obviously wear and tear. Things usually just degrade over time. Pages, though, weirdly, they look old, and yet some of them look very clean and pristine, like they had just been freshly put in there. But you're not really sure what kind of book it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever it is, she just seems like she's hugging it like it's her favorite thing in the world, and she doesn't want to let go of it. Yeah, it's like, this is my book. It's mine. Don't touch my book. And then she just leans into Aiden like, please don't fling sparks out in public. I know it's tempting, but
yeah, I get it. I got it. Hey, did I punt that question earlier, or should I have said nothing? Like, what was the?
I mean, it wasn't a bad question. I mean, you could have asked a better one.
I my brain's fried from memorizing all the stuff for the electricity stuff. So
I mean, that's fair. I mean,
I thought she might have missed small talk or something. I don't know. It's a prince. Does she just sit alone in her room when she's not talking with folks, or?
If she ever did do small talk, that would be an incredible thing to watch, but I've never once heard of that happening in her chambers or anywhere in this building.
Gotcha.
She is nothing but business, on top of business, with more business added on to more business.
Yeah,
then business.
I didn't expect to be handed a genie and hey, ask anything you want. I just kind of froze, so.
Yeah, that was weird. I wonder if she was playing with you. I kind of wondered that.
Do you think?
Possibly.
Rachel, did you ask anything? Or sorry, Jane. Sorry.
Did I ask anything? No, I did not. I don't think Venture Prince wants a Malkavian talking to them ever.
Oh, you're fine, I think. Though what do I know?
Oh, your clan is fun though. I like your clan. Says Josephine to you.
Well, I suppose.
I mean, some of you have, you can see things. That's always useful.
It is. So that book, how old is that book?
Very old. And then the elevator door opens just in that moment. And she steps
Saved by the bell. Oh, wait, no, are we all going to be in an elevator?
You're all in the same elevator, so you can still keep asking.
You're trapped with me. So of course, Jane stands the wrong way in the elevator, facing Josephine.
She gets immediately uncomfortable and leans backwards like,
anyone would.
Yes.
Anyone would if someone did that to you.
And Johnny and Roisin, you just see how awkward of a conversation this is starting to be. But go ahead.
But so very old. Are we talking 3 centuries, 4 centuries, 5 centuries? Give me a ballpark.
Salem witch trials.
Oh, interesting. Are you originally from Salem?
Not really. I'm from Boston proper.
Oh.
But I have a lot of history that goes back to it.
Do you know I believe is it the Tremere Primogen from Salem?
I know of Trilla. I've not met her personally, but I know of her.
Did she have a particular interest in Boston for any reason?
That's a very pointed question.
Just making conversation in an elevator.
As the elevator slowly makes its way down.
Got 60 floors to go.
No, it's got a few floors, yeah. Well, no, you're not in that main elevator. This is the one that's taking you first to the main open area, main atrium. But
okay.
It's still slowly moving. And then Josephine just looks at you like, well, not that I know of. I mean, she had a friend, like I know Trillo used to work with someone who used to be in Massachusetts, but they just left for New York recently.
Oh, who was that?
That was her friend Dinah. She was a Toreador. Miss, and she looks at Roisin. I think you're acquainted with her, sadly, or have met her before. She's
Oh yes, she's
a lot.
left quite an impression.
Yeah, she's a lot. She was very much a lot, and the prince and her did not. And she just does like this sword fighting with her fingers while holding the book still, like, did not get along. And then the elevator doors open and you're back in the main atrium. And what's interesting is one, yay, you're out of the elevator. Two, you don't know, it's been maybe an hour or two since you've now been here. Somehow in that time frame, when the door opens, you see Zoe is there, talking with a very handsome as heck gentleman that, for Johnny's sake, triggers multiple alarms in your head because you recognize this person. This is Eric. And they are seeming to have a nice conversation where they're laughing out loud. They're the only two in that atrium. There's no one else except, as I mentioned, the guards that are all dressed in the same red crimson outfits with white masks over their faces, blocking hallways here and there.
Gotcha.
And that's when she notices technically five of you walk out of the elevator. And it's like, oh, hello, Johnny. I was just talking to your wonderful friend here, Eric.
Right. Eric. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
As he turns around for everyone else, youthful looking man, darker skin, has on a black, almost like V-neck shirt with a blazer on top, black pants, little bit of stubble on the face. It's like, Johnny, where have you been? It's been weeks since I last saw you.
Working. And just like I have to work now. Special assignment. So I have to go. I'm sorry. I'll talk to you
As you try to
later.
say that, they hook their arm right around your neck. They're like, buddy, I haven't seen you in so many nights. I mean, it's not nice or fair to keep someone waiting that long.
You know what? You are absolutely right, and I do apologize for that. It's just been work has kept me a lot. In fact, Ro has me on an assignment, emergency assignment, that if I don't get back to you, she'll have my head.
He looks at you, Roisin. It's like, oh, is that so?
It is so, and I think I'm entitled to be a bit selfish and keep Johnny to myself. So, if you'll excuse us, and I want to remove his hand from around his neck, your shoulders.
Two things before we move forward on that. One, Johnny, do the others know who Eric is?
No, absolutely not. Not even the slightest. He has never given them, I think, about as much as they know about him. He is a Cam Ventru who has a special drink that he likes. That is it. They don't really know much about him.
Okay.
I just get the
Roisin,
sense from Johnny that he's uncomfortable, and I'm protective of him.
When you try to remove his hand, you know what? Give me a strength. This is going to sound weird, but it's the only way to do this. Give me strength plus brawl. I just want to know. I'm not going to tell what difficulty, but I just want to know. I believe in you.
That is 4 successes with 3 crits.
So 3 10s?
Yes.
All right.
Bitch, get off my man.
You feel resistance for a second, but then it's just like, no, none of this. And you flick his arm off like it was nothing. It's like, it's almost like this, excuse me. And he gives you this look of just surprise, little bit of anger flares for a second, and then they immediately calm down. It's like, it's fine. I'll catch up with dear Johnny later.
Actually, we'll set a date. 2 nights from now. There's a local jazz bar that we can meet up at.
Oh, a date, huh?
Yeah.
He gives you a wink, nods to Zoe as it was good seeing you, Miss Moon, and then he walks further to where the bar is. But as he turns back, he looks at you, Roisin, for a very brief second, and you get that, if you were to look, it's like that subtle look of someone just being like, how fucking dare you? And he walks away.
I settle up to Roisin and just say, "You want me to steal his car?"
No, we don't need to ask for more trouble right now. Maybe later.
Absolutely not. And he doesn't completely show it, but there's like a paternal concern that just a hand just goes on Aiden's shoulder, and it's just like, you really don't want to do that.
Who is that guy anyway?
We'll talk about it later. Table it.
Okay.
Zoe walks up and is like, no, I actually want to know, who was that? I know Eric a little bit, but what I mean by I meant to say more is, what was that between the two of you?
Consequences of actions that are not completely mine.
What? I'm gonna be that guy now. She walks up to you slowly, just gives you this very intense look, and then leans in to whisper, oh, I think I know exactly what you mean. And that sucks. She backs off.
Yeah.
Yeah. She gives you the most knowing look you've ever seen her give you before in your life. Just like, yeah, that's Johnny,
Yep.
yeah, you can do so much better.
You're right. Okay, time to go. It's yeah.
You're not leaving yet. I want to know what the hell all of you had a meeting about.
Oh,
And
how
for
about I tell you in
Roisin's
20
sake,
minutes?
I thankfully didn't run here in heels. I took a car afterwards. But they told me I couldn't go upstairs.
Oh. I think if you were meant to know, you would have been allowed upstairs.
Fine, have it your ways with your secrets. If you need me, I'll be in the bar. But I won't be helping you tonight, so have fun. And she walks off.
We still love you.
She hears that, turns around, gives you a smile, but then at Roisin, she gives the most impolite, uncharacteristic. She just gives you the bird. She gives you the finger and walks away.
Hey, speaking of the bar, is anyone feeling a little peckish?
I could eat.
Maybe a
There is
quick
a
pit
bar.
stop before we head out?
I'm gonna go to the car. You guys gonna have fun in the bar.
I don't know. I feel like I could go for some. It's probably a holdover from my first life, but I think they used to call it street meat.
Oh, like
You
a
know.
hot dog stand?
Bless your heart.
my sweet summer child. Kind of. Something quick, dirty, you're not quite sure what's in it.
Oh, no. I will. Gosh, I'll break into a blood drive if I have to. I'm not. Ugh.
Josephine gives you the same look. Aiden's like, yeah, no, that's not appetizing at all. I'm not into that. And she just looks at you quickly. I'm gonna go grab just a bottle from the bar, like literally just take it with me. I'll be right back. And she walks off. She's still holding that book. She walks off.
Can I go get one with her? Because
I
I feel
100%.
I feel like that would work with Bagger. Bottled blood.
Yeah, if you want to, by all means.
All right. Wait up. Jog off.
Do the others follow suit? Or are you all, some of you going to the car, this way, that way?
Change just doing one of these, like, I don't know what to do. Somebody tell me what to do.
Follow me to the car.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna go to the car. I don't want to get in the car. I want to is this where we're going within walking distance, or should we drive?
You're going to be driving. Where you are going, Harvard Square, is actually quite a few miles away from Back Bay.
I'm from Canada. I don't
Well,
know.
why
You're fine.
don't Johnny and I
You're fine.
hang out in the car? Aiden can grab his bottle, and you can eat whatever you want, and we'll wait for you.
It's your choice.
I'll go for a quick walk and a cigarette, as if it really does anything. It's more the habit of the ritual of it. See if I can find somebody who I can flirt into letting me drink from them.
All right, we're going to do this in multiple steps. For Aiden, you go to the bar, and I'll give the same description that I gave 2 weeks ago, because we were here 2 weeks ago. The bar is weirdly kind of similar to the Crimson Clover in that it is jewel tones. It's like these sort of blood red, crimson-y, sort of velvet draped fabrics are all around. It's got a sort of speakeasy vibe, but really the Crimson Clover looks so much cooler. Let's just be honest. It's a much prettier establishment. There is someone what could best be described as, there is a bar. It's more like you could walk around the bar. It's the center of the room. You have all points you could walk around this bar. There's a bartender there. They have also darker skin, wonderful dreadlocks going from the front to back that are exquisite. They're in a business suit. You also notice the thing that stands out more than the fact that Zoe, this person Eric, who Johnny was interacting with, is there, as well as Josephine, is the fact that there are people in the room sitting on the couches or chairs in this space, all wearing masquerade masks. Like the ones that look most like guys or males have open blazers exposing their chests, just showing it off fully. Women in full-on cocktail dresses. And they're kind of just lounging about, and they look at each one of you who walks in as if they are ready for you to just take as you please.
No, thank you. Barkeep, what do you got on?
Yeah. Well, what do you want? What's your type?
Sterile.
What's your personal preferences? Sterile.
Clean. Clinical.
If you go on, I'm intrigued.
Look, I just don't want people touching the blood. You know, I know it's kind of impossible at a certain point, but just whatever.
I get it. Let me guess, you're just like Josephine here, who's also very clean and sterile. You don't even see Josephine say anything. She just nods her head all right, give me a second. I got this unusual type that you're looking for, as they literally go underneath the bar and they pull out 2 bottles, and they're not even big bottles. They're they're not even the airport style little shot glass bottles. They're just the tiniest of a champagne bottle. It's you know what? Normally I would want you to drink it here for safety reasons. Just take it. No one else is gonna drink this.
Nice. Take.
What a weird particular taste thing. And they walk away. But what you notice as they walk away is Zoe is very much sidling up next to one of the guys in a mask, or one of the people in a mask, and is just getting extremely cozy with them as they eventually stand up, grabbing their arm and leading them off to one of the cordoned off rooms that are completely fabricated off. And you can tell that the person that Johnny was interacting with, Eric, is on the opposite end of the bar, and he's clearly looking past your shoulder as he watches Johnny leave the space.
I do that thing where I look at him, then I look over at Johnny, then I do that a couple more times.
They notice. They just raise their glass to you, and then they walk off to another room that's cordoned off that you maybe could try to get into, but it's probably not going to work well.
I've already spent enough time learning this new trick. I don't want to piss off Roisin and Johnny too much. Also, Rachel might feel abandoned if I disappear again. Once again, sorry, not Rachel, Jane. Keep reading the other name. My apologies.
Josephine just looks at you. It's like, it's kind of interesting that we both have the same type. That's not a normal thing.
I got the bullet point version of things, and it just seems to be kind of like a preference, right? So it's not like
it's all a preference thing, but it's usually it's more interesting that you prefer it the same way I do. I don't really know anyone else in the city that does.
Well, for me, it's like a good shower. I feel nicer after a good shower. If I drink something that's like directly from someone, it feels like I need to take like an internal shower. It just feels like everything's bleh. So
yeah,
that's why I
can
prefer
see that
clean. And
just
no, just like a clinical might be a better word than clean. Just I like to have that factor removed if possible. It's I have a theory. It might be because I like breaking and entering rather than like things like pickpocketing or mugging people. It's just like no one's there. I have all the time in the world. I can do my thing. I can get out. No need to interact with anyone.
Yeah, it's fair. I don't really want to have to interact with my meal before taking, drinking it. It just feels weird.
Yeah, either that or I did get a lot of to-go fast food, like through the drive-thru before all this, so maybe it's that.
Yeah, I do miss a good Big Mac.
Chicken nuggets for me. Can't go wrong with chicken nuggets any time of day.
True. Shall we? She points out the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
As they walk out, I'm going to say the other three, you're all at the car, but Roisin specifically, your predator type is, if I remember correctly, because I need to pull your sheet up because I'm a bad GM right now, is, scroll up, consensualist. So how are you consensually going to get a snack in this current situation if you're doing street meat, as it were?
Are there people like milling about, like other people outside any other establishments, smoke breaks, things like that?
So this is what I'm going to have you do, which is something I've not gotten to do in Vampire before. You're going to roll manipulation plus persuasion. And I want to know how many you get.
My manipulation. Okay.
And if you want a difficulty, you know what? I'm going to do it this. It's a difficulty of 3.
Oh, so many dice. Jesus, really? 3, 7, 8 dice.
Hey, a large dice pool is always a good thing.
Mute it while I roll. Hang on. Okay. Ooh, only 3 successes, but one of them is a crit.
Is it a crit on one of your hunger dice?
No.
Okay, good. No, you're fine. You're looking around, and again, you're at the John Hancock Tower. You're in the back bay. Back at this hour, it's about probably like closer to 1 or 2 in the morning. So finding people at this hour in Boston, because Boston's a weird city. It's not like New York. New York is always awake. New York never goes to sleep. Boston actually sleeps, which may be good, maybe bad. Don't know. Somehow, though, you do find a few people that are going out of one of the bars nearby. And they're just kind of walking out. They're not tipsy. They're not doing that normal drunken sway, but they're just walking out of the bar after having a good night, probably amongst friends, just having a good time.
Then I will kind of like bundle up my coat a little bit more as if I'm cold and like have my cigarette in one hand and walk past them and see about like accidentally bumping shoulders with them as I walk by and like drop my phone. I'm so clumsy.
They are both two gentlemen. One of them notices that and immediately picks their phone up. And when they look at you, they immediately just look at their friend, kind of just like, "Oh, hi. I think you dropped this. Yeah." And their face just flushes.
Perfect. So we just take the phone back and be like, "Oh, thanks. I'm just sorry. I just had a really frustrating night. Do you guys have like, I don't know, do you guys have any weed on you, or like, do you know where I could get some?"
His friend just looks at him, is like, "This is all you, man. I'm going home," and just starts walking away. And he's like, "Yeah, the one who stopped and handed the phone back is like, yeah, I got some in my car. I mean, I don't mind sharing." Kind of seems late to be taking the smoke, but I mean, to each their own.
I'm on a weird sleep cycle right now, and I appreciate people who share. Where are you parked?
Just a couple cars down, if you don't mind following.
No? And
Alright.
I want to link my arm in his arm.
And you do just that. And as you get to the car, my question is specifically rules based, is consensualist. Do you ask if you can take a nibble, or do you just dive in and take a bite without asking?
I'm not, I don't want to go ahead without asking.
Okay.
But I want him to be in a place like, this is so sketchy though, like I want him to be in more of a place where he would be comfortable saying yes. So like I want us to like be sitting in his car and maybe like start putting the moves on him so I can like reveal my fangs to him kind of, and like, be not afraid sort of thing.
I will say, sort of a fade to black, as it were. You do all that. My main question then for you is, what was your hunger at? Oh, this was at 1? Oh,
yeah, because I had a drink at the bar.
Oh, right. So here's the thing with that. Only way to clear that 1 and make it 0 is you take a life. You have to literally drink that person dry. It's an immediate, you kill them sort of situation. So unless you really want to do that, by all means, I will say there are things that will happen if you do that, but it's up to you.
Does he seem like a good guy? Like if he starts pushing my boundaries and not asking for my consent, then fuck yeah, I'll kill him. But
he seems like he's very into this feeling, because the thing is, when you're as a vampire, unless you're clan Hikata, they have a very different form of what the kiss is. The kiss is the most pure ecstasy moment you could ever be in. It is the most beautiful moment of bliss. You just feel wonderful. You feel like it's the most fabulous thing happening to you. Now, the flip side of that is, if one of you were the wonderful clan Hikata, or known as the former Giovanni, they have the opposite effect. When they bite people, it physically hurts, and it can actually kill the person in the process of them actually feeding on someone. Your case, though, this is the most beautiful thing this person's ever felt in his life. And they're just letting you take as much as you want. They seem like a nice guy.
Yeah, if he doesn't seem
but
like
at the same time,
he's a man. He is capable. I'll let him live. Let this be for story's sake instead of getting rid of my hunger.
Okay.
And I will like leave a business card on his dashboard.
He just gives you this very wonderful smile, as he also just feels a little woozy, but also he's like, "I will definitely pay you a visit."
Don't drive home. Call an Uber.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I feel a little lightheaded. And he takes his phone out and starts booking an Uber immediately. And as you make your way back to where Johnny and Jane are, there's anything Johnny and Jane were discussing while Roisin went off on a little bit of a bender, by all means.
It's like he knows. And is just bracing for it. Go ahead and ask.
Who is she?
He.
No, she. I want to know. Well, both actually. Fire.
Fiorenza.
Fire. No,
Oh!
she doesn't even remember. Fire.
Yeah.
What's her
Fiorenza.
name?
Fiorenza, yeah.
And that smoking hunk of hotness at the bar. Who is that?
Ooh, complicated. Fiorenza. Think of Fiorenza as like the I don't have like a point of reference. Damn. Fiorenza is like a power player for the Camarilla. Powerful.
Okay.
Some might say she has more power than some princes.
Okay.
Don't say that out loud. They definitely don't say out like around any prince. Don't say that out loud. They will probably execute you.
Why does she like you so much?
That's complicated.
I like complicated. Let's get into it.
I don't fully know myself, but I think I have an ideal. It's a Venture thing. We like power. Most of us, all of us. You know what? All of us like power in our own way.
Roisin has not come back yet. She's still off on her little escapades.
Damn it, woman. The guy. Yeah, because now I see that look. The guy. Okay, the guy. Not all of our Kindred life is rainbows and butterflies and vampire romance novels. It's like the inverse of that.
Oh, was that X drama?
That's not an X.
Is that it's complicated?
We're complicated. That's a conundrum.
Okay.
More political than romantic, if we really want to suss it out.
Okay. Well, I will let you be weird about it. Not like we aren't friends or anything, but okay.
Oh, you do know, while we do delve in secrets and unraveling certain secrets and selling secrets, sometimes it's best not to get into other people's
Business?
stuff. Yes.
Oh, no. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, let's put it this way. If secrets and getting into other people's business is our bread and butter, isn't it my job to ensure that we eat well?
You know what? I was just going to give you 1 star, but you know what? You get 3 gold stars for tonight. You're ahead of Aiden.
Don't tell him that. That's between you and me.
That's, between you and me. All of this is between you and me. So he actually digs out into like his other like jacket pocket, and he takes out like 3 gold stars and just hands it off to her.
She will eat those gold stars up, and she will stick them in her little front flap of her notebook and be like, Johnny, you're my favorite tonight.
And right as you do that, Aiden and Josephine walk down.
What's up? Got drinks?
Nice.
Josephine actually holds the bottle up. It's like, I can't believe it's this small.
What did you get?
Sterile. Very clean. Apparently that's not normal.
No, usually someone wants like a flavor or some...
Yeah, just not feeling it tonight, but also it's just not my taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really annoying in Boston. And
Were
that's when
you one of
Roisin
those
walks
people
up.
that only ever wanted water with dinner?
Yes. Is that weird? I don't think that's weird.
No,
It's
it's
not
not weird, but it's
No.
just it's telling.
Especially if you don't have money. Like, who can afford a soda?
Yeah.
That's fair.
At least I was able to afford this coat. That's nice, at least. And then Roisin walks up.
Who were we talking about?
Water. We're talking about water.
And soda.
Water under the bridge.
Yep, pretty much.
Ready to go, boss?
Ready as I'll ever be. As long as everyone's quenched, everyone's ready.
Always.
I'm gonna move from 2 hunger to 1 for the.
Yep. Go right ahead.
All right.
And with that, let's take our break. We'll be back. Welcome back. Now, here's my question. How do you get to Harvard Square? Do you have a personal car? Do you book an Uber? God forbid, do you even... Well, actually, no, the train doesn't run after 12 o'clock in Boston, so do you book an Uber? Do you get a personal car that you already own?
How do we get here?
You all got here through Journey.
I would assume, I think even in one of the last one-shots, I made it clear that, like, I have a driver or something, or like I have use a car.
Yeah, sure. So you just call up your driver?
Yeah.
What's your driver's name?
My head's Bill.
Uh,
Vampire Bill.
Vampire Bill. Bill always is ready to answer his phone for you, no matter what time of night. Yes, Miss Lynch.
Hi, beloved. Could you please come pick us up? We're at the Hancock, whatever. We just have some business to run.
Oh, I'll be right there before you know it.
Thank you.
Tell him to bring my box.
Wait, what box? What box?
The black one, the black box. We're probably gonna need it. The security box. Oh my God. Security box.
Oh,
He will know. He will
say
know.
that the first time. Could you grab Johnny's security box?
I know exactly what you're talking about. No worries. I heard him shout that.
Thank you. You are easy to love.
I'm on my way. So with that, you wait a few minutes, and maybe less time than you imagined to get there. Bill shows up. Beautiful, sort of black sedan. Just like, black, windows black, can't really see in. So everything's basically, if you had to go about during the day, if anything, God forbid, required that, you're safe as hell. And he just pulls up, he gets out of his car, the driver's side seat. Words are tough sometimes. Driver's side seat, walks around, opens the door for you. And for Johnny, he looks at you and says, "Don't worry, it's in there."
You
And then
brought the
he's
box.
realizing there's a lot more of you than probably could fit in the car. He's like, "Well, you can all, this will hopefully work."
I'll sit in the front.
I'll get in the
Okay.
trunk. I'm used to it.
Josephine gives you a very concerned look.
I mean, hey, if they let me in themselves, it's the best way to break into some places.
Yeah, that does work. All right, shall we? As you make your way from the back bay, you start realizing and remembering they said Harvard Square. Harvard Square is technically, it's complicated. It's not really Boston. You're actually in the city of Cambridge. So you're in the suburb of Boston, but technically it's still Boston. It's much like how where I live in Los Angeles, LA County is massive and it encompasses much more than it should. That's just how it is. So you end up in Harvard Square. Specifically, you're in the vicinity of what is Harvard University. The Harvard Square itself is very, very iconic. If you ever go there, it is basically a giant fork in the road splits it, where you have the train station that leads into Harvard Square Station as proper. And then when you walk out up on the street level, it is nothing but old brick street. And it goes on for many different areas, many different parts of the city. But then across the street from it is, of course, the iconic landmark that is Harvard University and its old brick buildings that have been there for centuries that are still there today. Obviously, we all know what that is. It's an institution of learning, of science, of law, also surprisingly of art. It actually has one of the premier theater companies in the world, ART Boston. The majority of a lot of Broadway shows actually come from Boston. Most people don't know that. Harvard Square, as I'm saying over and over again, quintessential Boston. It's quintessential New England. It looks like it's the most atypical looking New England area you could walk in that is in the city. We're now for the location in terms of where you get dropped off. Josephine actually gives the driver the address because obviously the person you're checking on is a Tremere. For Aiden's sake, I would say the name that got mentioned, Leaf, I leave it up to you. Do you think that is someone you have heard of or know of clan-wise?
No, Aiden tries to stick to himself. He doesn't want to. He's already dealing with so much and is already kind of shitty life situation, so he doesn't want to complicate it by adding politics and like knowing people to the mix. So he's fine being solo for as long as he can get away with it. Though I do have another question.
Yeah.
Most cars after 2002 have a emergency release latch in the trunk. Does Roisin's car have it, or did she take it out for in case she needs to have someone there?
You're not in the trunk. The last thing
I'm
we
not?
need is a traffic violation.
Oh, okay. I thought we didn't have enough seat room, so I volunteered.
Yeah, I said there weren't
Yeah,
enough
there's
seats.
4 of us.
That's okay. I'll take
No,
the
but
middle
there's
back
5
seat.
of you
Oh,
because
fuck.
Josephine's with you.
Fuck
Why didn't we take
Josephine.
the car that Josephine took us to the princess?
She can follow us in another car.
Journey, that was Journey who took you, and that car was
Oh,
owned
that's
by
right. That's right. That's right. So many names, so little time.
Yeah, but only one or two vehicles.
Okay.
So that's up to. If you're in the trunk, I'm going to say you're in the trunk, but I leave that up to
If we
Roisin
need
if
to
it's
save
their car.
seats, Aiden is fully okay with being in the trunk.
You're in the trunk. There is no emergency release because in case we need to stake somebody,
I-
we don't have them breaking out.
I thought so. It's
Mhm.
like, uh-oh. Bang, bang, bang. Hey, can someone let me out?
In that case, the address you pull up to is you pull up to a street called known as Mount Auburn Street. It's very similar to what I was describing with the Back Bay that has all these old brownstones. They're almost all these old brick-laid buildings that are just, they loom ominously over the street. And eventually the car stops in front of them. We're here. Miss Lynch, do you want me to just, keep my foot on the pedal just in case?
I mean, maybe circle the block a few times and then come back.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I can get I say drink, but I mean a water down the street. I won't obviously be drinking.
Just park somewhere within running distance if need be.
Will do. Have fun? ? As they get out of the car.
I'll let Aiden out of the trunk.
Aiden, you're out of the trunk. And then Josephine walks up like, why were you in the... You could have just squeezed... I don't get it.
That's too many people. We talked about this.
So while they're sorting out this trunk business, I'm going to borrow a phone, maybe, something, go to a payphone. I don't know who has a phone on them. I know Johnny has a phone on them. Johnny, can I borrow your phone? Here's a gold
Okay.
star.
Give
Can I borrow your phone?
I'll give you a burner. Don't lose it or don't do anything weird with it.
Wait,
Just
the
hands it
gold
off to
stars
her.
are minor boons for Johnny? I didn't know this.
I'm gonna spend my gold stars to get anyway, formal communication, because I just looked it up because I wanted to make sure I could do this. Jane has enough resources to buy an SUV. So while this is going on, I would really like for Jane to just buy an SUV so that Aiden doesn't have to ride in the trunk anymore. And they can be having their whole conversation. You just see Jane over there,
How many dots do you have in resources?
Well, I had to check this because it was 2, but it says several cars and high-end equipment.
You know what? As much as I'm tempted to make you roll for those 2 dots, I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna say you do it. I think that's highly entertaining. Yeah, as they're having this conversation about the trunk, you're just like, as you said, Johnny, can I have a phone? And you just go off and literally dial into the exact number that you somehow memorized for a local dealership that has really good vehicles and somehow have already
Academics,
procured
research,
one.
specialization. Yeah.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah, in the middle of the night, somehow. She's very well connected. As you are on the street, there's really no one walking around. It's literally the dead of night.
Okay, which one of these is it?
It should be, I think that one down there, if you want to follow me. And Josephine just walks off. She still has the book, by the way, just for context.
But at
Do you
time
follow?
everyone sees Johnny again, like if the camera was to pan back over to him, Johnny has changed a whole outfit and started putting on gloves. So okay. Since you're like the leading lady on this, like if your kid's in danger, do we grab them and drag them out? If they don't want to come, do I have to drag them out? Like, is this like Beyond Scared Straight or something?
Were we just like to DM or storyteller rather? Are we just checking up on this person, or were we sent to retrieve them?
You were sent to just check out what's going on because they haven't been at the tower in a few days. It's been quiet with this Kindred, and then Prince wants to know what's going on.
Okay.
So could be someone there, could not be someone there. Could be a trap, could be anything really.
Right. So let's just be on our toes. Let's not rush into anything physical, violent, destructive that would garner any attention if we don't need to. Right now, we are basically doing a welfare check.
No, I know, but you know they got that whole weird magical woof stuff. That's what I was mostly worried about.
Well, I don't see why they would use anything against us. Again, we're just checking in on them.
Okay.
Could I do like a basic assessment of this place? Like from my experience from breaking and entering, like does anything seem off? Like someone's already like gotten here before us? It's like a
Give me... Oh God, I need to think about that. Give me... I feel like streetwise makes sense.
Okay.
Give me wits plus streetwise.
Can I
Because you're doing it in the moment.
Yeah, can I add a modifier for my breaking and entering experience?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Is there a difficulty for this?
No, just tell me how many you get. I'll tell you after whatever the roll is.
5 successes.
God damn. All of you roll so well. Do you follow Josephine in the process?
Oh yeah, definitely. Also
Okay.
eyeing that book, like, why are you carrying that around everywhere? Is that like going to be useful or?
As you are contemplating that, you take a second to look at the houses, and you know that majority of them do have some form of security system on it. Like you got to do that, got to put the code in to get into the building proper.
Mm-hmm.
What you notice though is she walks up to a very particular door, and she's just standing there, not going any further. And that's when you don't really need to roll a high success on this one. You notice the door is already open.
Well, that's not good.
She's just kind of looking at it like, that's... Huh. That should not be open.
Examine the lock. Does it look like it's been forced in, or?
The lock is cleanly broken off.
Look at the others. This has escalated. Someone busted in here before we got here.
Case we should definitely be prepared then.
As Josephine leads the way in, she slowly, step by step, walks up to the door and then opens it. The lights are not on. She tries to look for like a light switch. She probably finds one, flicks it, and even then the light doesn't turn on. It just every now and then sparks with light and then fizzes out. Sparks back again with light, fizzes out.
Just gonna turn on the flashlight on the phone.
This isn't something I could fix with my new electricity, could it?
How high is your tech? I'm curious now.
Tech
Oh, you
is
have pretty
3.
good tech. Hey,
Yeah.
you know, you don't need to. You're not going to roll for this. I'm going to go off your 3 tech on that, just
Mm-hmm.
because it makes more sense in the moment. You know, something's not right, and this your new wonderful electric powers would not be useful in this situation. That would cause more damage than what's needed.
Gotcha.
Josephine even looks at you and says, "Don't do it. Trust
have my-
me. Don't
I
do
have my
it.
fingers
This is
up.
not the time or place."
All right. Later.
And she leads the charge again. She slowly, step by step, with the loudest thuds possible with her boots, well, not loudly. It sounds loud because it's quiet. She walks up those steps slowly as she's kind of looking up and slowly walking forward step by step, cautiously. She gets to the 2nd floor, doesn't look at any of the doors. She continues walking up to another set of stairs. Again, the lights, even up the further you get, they still are doing that on, off, on, off. And she slowly makes her way to the 3rd floor. And that's when, if you're all following her, you notice when she gets to the 3rd floor, she just stops and doesn't move forward.
You okay, lady?
She doesn't respond.
Oh,
I look past her. What she's facing.
Again, it's weird. This lighting is just on and off. It's like a candle in terms of how it keeps changing the lighting in the room and like how everything looks. She doesn't walk forward, but she just you can see her staring down the hallway at a door that's very much not closed. You can tell it's open, but you can't see in the room. And then she slowly, as you ask, like, "Are you okay?" She doesn't respond again. She just makes this extremely kind of unnerving, casual walk forward, as if she really doesn't want to walk forward, but she does it anyways. She's just, and you can then finally hear her say, "Something is not right about this. And she just continues to walk forward.
Johnny, can you grab her?
Gotcha. And he's just gonna cautiously, still with the phone out, is just gonna try to attempt to like wrap his arm around her just in case if he has to whip her back out.
She doesn't even resist it. She just kind of notices you do that, and then she stops and she's like, "Sorry, and she doesn't really know what to say.
Can Jane do a premonition?
Always a fun time with premonition. What is that roll again? I gotta look that up.
It is resolve plus aspects.
Yeah, and I want to double check one thing. Oh, I can sing again. That's great. This one I'm not giving to you. You can do it for free, but this one I'm not allowing that. I need you to give me a rouse check.
Okay. How do I do that with the actual vampire dice then?
If you get blanks, it's a failure. If it has an actual symbol on it, it's a success.
How many do I roll?
Just one, just for the rouse check.
Okay.
And then we'll do the resolve, then we'll do the actual.
We're good. Yay.
Okay, you're good. You don't get hungrier. And then make the actual roll. Which is, you said, resolve plus aspects. All of you notice that Jane is kind of stopping in place for a second.
She's gonna have a moment. A little bit of a moment to herself.
Yeah. Johnny, you fully grab Josephine, who's just... she looks at you quickly and says sorry, as if she was walking forward and didn't mean to, but then she's looking at the door again, just kind of like... she looks panicky. Like, if she was human, she'd look like she's about to have almost an anxiety attack over this, because it's freaking her out.
4 successes.
Let my lady do her thing. She look like she's doing a thing. Then I'll let you in there, okay?
Were any of those 10s, just out of curiosity?
No, they were all just regular
Okay,
successes.
just checking. Past couple premonitions you've had, they are kind of clear as day. Like, you see very clear imagery. This is the best way to describe it. You trigger it. You still see the room in front of you, but none of them are in front of you anymore. It's just you in the hallway. And the only thing that you see that, thankfully you got that many successes, that's always a good thing. You just see like water kind of trickle by your feet. And then you realize when the light hits it, it's not really water. It's literally, there is blood going down the hallway. And then when you look at the door again, it's just an onslaught of crimson red tide streaming at you. And then you immediately snap out of the premonition.
All work and no play.
Make Jack a dull boy.
Yeah, make Jack a dull boy. And that's exactly what she says out loud.
What?
She points again and says, all work and no play make Jack a dull boy.
What is she saying?
I don't know. Is this some sort of poor person? thing
Josephine
that
looks
I
at you and it's like,
understand?
are you... Yeah, Josephine just looks at you like, are you quoting The Shining? That's what I thought. It's like, that's such a weird quote, but also now I feel more unnerved. And then, Johnny, you notice she does another uncharacteristic thing that you saw April do in the elevator before you all went to meet the prince. She breathes in for no reason at all and lets out a breath like, okay, let's see what's in the room. Yeah. And she tries to have you let go of her.
When the premonition is over, and assuming that we have the blood tide come through, if Jane touches the ground, is it wet?
It is not.
Okay. So you all will see Jane, kneel down, touch the ground, do one of these.
He's just gonna let Josephine go. Okay, I'll be on her 6. Anything happens, I can just whip her out.
That's when you finally see her do this. She opens the book up and starts flipping through pages and immediately stops on a page and then turns around all of you and is like, if anything bad happens, I have wards I can put up around here, but I don't think we're going to need it. But still, just letting you know, I'm prepared just in case. And she's saying this through an extremely anxiety-filled moment of just like, I swear this is all okay. Hopefully.
Oh, goodness, we're at ward level bad.
Jane's gonna just go walk in the room.
As I figured, the lights are off. You take a second to feel around for a light switch, and you are able to turn the lights on. And Josephine walks up behind you, and she maybe doesn't have the best sense of personal space. She kind of grabs your shoulder in a way that if it was any normal sort of situation, you could tell someone's freaking the fuck out over what they're seeing. What Jane sees before you, what you see before you, Jane, is kind of mortifying, but also weirdly kind of familiar, if it makes sense in the next second. This room is red. This room is bathed in red. And you know it's not paint. That is clear as day blood all over this place. And it's not just a small amount. I mean, when I say bathed, I mean this is a large quantity of blood, and it's fucking everywhere. And then when you look down as you try to step forward, that's when you notice the arm. It's lying there separate from the body, belongs to. And then as you walk further in, you see it. That familiar sight that you had a premonition about. There are 2 bodies on the floor, horribly mutilated, the likes of which you've never personally seen up close in your undead life. But that's not the thing that stops you. the thing that stops you takes the cake, as it were, as it's the first time you've ever seen this. And when the others walk in, it's the first time any of you have ever seen this. There's a third body, or what looks like a third body. It's kind of hard to tell, as they're literally decomposing before your very eyes in an expedited state. Parts of their body are literally dusting before your eyes. And then you look up and see it, to which Roisin and Jane, you've seen this message before, and you literally just saw it hours ago in a premonition. On the wall above the living room couch, a simple phrase written in blood that makes no sense. Don't worry. Be happy. And all of you, including Josephine, are going to do this. Take how many unspent willpower you have. Please roll that. You're going to do what's called a fun thing called a frenzy resist. If you fail this, I'm going to be upfront about it. If you fail this, and it's a difficulty of at least 2, you're not staying in that room. You're running out of the room. Because this site is just something that you can't handle. Josephine's already in a panic state, so it's fun.
3 successes, 2 10s.
Oh, so well, and I love that.
2 successes.
That's good enough. That's good enough. And also, you can't reroll willpower, just so you know.
Oh. Ooh.
4 successes with 2 10s.
Damn, good job, everyone. And Josephine got 2.
That's because Jane and Roisin see some shit on a nightly basis.
It's true. Josephine got 2 successes. All of you feel like for a second, you feel like your inner urge is to run the fuck out of this room because it is something you've just never personally seen up close like this before. But also you're able to hold yourself because you were told you needed to find out what happened or why this person's not been showing up or has been disappeared. You can tell Johnny specifically, I'm going to say, because you were just holding on to Josephine, you notice that she is visibly was shaking for a second and then she's composed herself completely. But she just is dead silent as if she has no idea how to comprehend what the fuck this room is. And then, as I mentioned for Jane and Roisin specifically, this looks exactly from the layout you saw in your premonition. It's that in real life. But now it's the room encasing those 2 people you saw. Plus, there's a third body that you didn't see in the premonition. And this person's literally rapidly... this third body's rapidly deteriorating. Yeah, okay, it's literally deteriorating.
Jane's going to hurry up over to that third person and try to get any sort of identifying, whether their face hasn't dusted yet, the clothes that they're wearing.
Give me a wits plus investigate. Difficulty of 3.
I also have a specialization in deduction.
Add a dice.
Uh, 3 successes, 1 10.
So, again, you're very close to a body that is literally just, you've never seen that. You've heard, I would say, obviously all of you have heard that if someone were to potentially, and you're able to deduce this too from the body, by the way, someone who is a kindred meets the final death, age does a lot. If they're very old, their body's just gone. They can completely... Best way to describe it is, for all those of us who watched Buffy in the 90s, it's like staking a vampire. They immediately just dust. This one, though, clearly they were not that old. So while it is quick, it's the fact that it's still happening is kind of fucked up. What you're able to do, though, is with your quick investigation, and you got the roll on that, you find a card is next to them on the floor, and you pick it up. It's a card for a place called the Sinclair. That's a music venue that when you look at the address, because I would say you're very good with library knowledge, you would know Boston very, very well. It's a music venue that's actually near where you are right now. You also take a second to look at the bodies that have been mutilated that are clearly mortal people. They have giant claw marks of sorts on their midriff that completely ripped them open and tore them to shreds. And you even look at the arms that's been thrown around, that got through around the room, and that's the same thing. It looks like someone just slashed the arm off with something unnatural.
Okay, so I'm going to hand the card to Roisin
Hmm.
and explain that it is a music venue nearby. And then I am going to point out the claw marks to Johnny so that he can see that a thing happened.
Yep.
I'm going to ask Aiden. Aiden, could you and Josephine maybe do some magic-y something on that message? Or can you maybe analyze what's going on there? Or maybe figure out if there's something we can figure out with like handprint analysis or something?
Not really my area of expertise as far as what I've been taught, but I can figure out whoever did this, which way they went or something.
Ooh, great idea.
You notice Josephine for a second, not shaking anymore, but she has a moment where it looks like if she was human, she would have to be kind of holding back, wanting to like upchuck, and she puts her hand over her mouth like, "I'm good. Just, oh my god, I've never seen anything like this in my life."
Is it safe to assume that this is the person we're looking for?
Yes, this was her home, and that's clearly yeah. And she's like, Aiden, you do what you need to do. I'll try to work on this. And she goes to where Jane is and sits down. Well, not sits, but like crouches down to the body that's clearly fading away and is trying to rapidly flip through her book to find something that can help her out. I would say for Johnny, because I like making interesting rolls happen on this is going to sound bizarre, but can you give me intelligence plus firearms? Because when you go to the bodies, you notice both of those bodies had some form of gun on them, but you're not really sure what the fuck it is for a second, so you're taking a second to think about it.
Two successes.
That's exactly the number you needed. You look at them, they are not standard issue from what you know, and you have very good knowledge about this stuff. Like anything involving that, like, hey, security, you need to know this stuff. Makes sense. You look at this and you're like, this doesn't look standard issue. Oh, this looks custom made almost. And that's when you take the round out and you look at it and you realize it's incendiary. It's incendiary on both of them.
Bro?
This is very bad.
Very, very bad. Does he know about your friend?
Sorry, does who know about them? Who are you talking about?
Johnny. Does Johnny know about your hunter friend?
Yes, I would say so.
Probably. We might have to ask a certain someone why these two were here with this, and also now look like they've just met Freddy Krueger.
That reference I get.
Mm.
Let's take some pictures for prints just to document what we found.
He's just taking out the small portable digital camera, just clicking around things. He's just like, this is oof.
While you do that, Aiden, give me a wits plus awareness roll.
Sure.
And again, for everyone in the room, you've never seen anything like this, except for Roisin and Jane, who had a vision of sorts that looked similar to this, but what you're seeing in person is much more horrifying.
That's 3 successes.
That is exactly good enough. The others are preoccupied. Yeah, the others are preoccupied doing what they're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Josephine, again, is not with you. She told you, do what you need to do on your end. You walk into where there's a kitchen area, has a counter. You notice there's a notebook there.
Ooh, wait, laptop or paper?
Paper.
Gotcha.
Good question. That's actually a very good thing to do. to have to differentiate, so thank you. Just a paper notebook.
Mhm.
Looks old, has a nice leather-bound casing around it.
Ooh, fancy. I open it.
When you open it, it says, in the funniest way, almost like this was someone in like going back to school, this book is the property of a leaf, Parla, and it has your clan symbol on the front page of it. When you start flipping through it, a lot of it is just like, it's going over like, oh, things you can do with blood sorcery, what you can do with wards, rituals, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the back of the book, and you start seeing names listed, along with what clan they are, and then the date. And when you see the date, that's when you stop for a second and realize, like, these dates aren't old. These dates are rather recent. Like, one is from 2 days ago, one's from a week ago, one's from a week and a half ago. And it's like 10 different names, and they're all listed. And at the top of it is where you finally see it. It's like disappeared on, and you're noticing this is a catalog of 10 missing kindred in the city that haven't been seen according to this person on these dates. They've been missing since those dates.
Why was she looking into this? Also, why was this just left here? Interesting. I'm gonna like flip through all the clan specific stuff. Is like, is there anything I don't know that she knows that like about cast and stuff? And if there's nothing of like major import, then I will head back into the main room. I do want to search all the bodies for cell phones and smartphones.
Yeah. I will say we can go off your wits plus awareness roll on that. But so you don't need to re-roll. They have phones. They've all been destroyed.
Damn it. All right.
Like, they're cracked.
Jane, found something since you seem to be running point on this.
Oh,
Notebook.
no points around me. I'm just trying to be helpful.
I will exchange this very nice notebook for 2 of your gold stars.
Okay.
Yes, 2 minor boons from Johnny later.
Hey, Jane hands him 2 gold stars.
I
and
just
takes the
decided this is
notebook.
the thing. You have no need to entertain me.
Josephine just looks at you like, is this really appropriate right now, considering where we are?
I make jokes when I'm stressed. Okay, it's my self-defense mechanism, as my therapist tells me.
Okay.
Anyway, most important part, back page. Look at that.
She looks at you, Roisin. I'm so sorry you have to deal with that shenanigans. And goes back to looking at
They're
the
good
opposing
noodles.
body.
Look at this. Look at this.
So, can I do a wits plus investigation deduction on if there is an obvious pattern between who has been disappeared and those dates?
Sure. By all means. Let me know how many successes you get. If anyone else wants to
2.
do anything in the space, by all means, 2. You just... It doesn't seem like they all connect, but again, you're looking at the top of that and it says they all disappeared apparently on those dates, but it's not consistent. It's kind of erratic. It's been going on for at least a month. But there's no consistency. Like, it's been every 2 or 3 days. It's very random. One of them even has it listed as 2 dates on the same date, like 2 people on the same date.
No locations?
No locations. It's just
So-
more name, clan, last date they were seen in the city.
Can I get any idea if there is one clan that is either not being touched or a clan that is the majority of these?
Ooh, I like that. They are all for the... Oh god, I gotta remember this for a second. Camarilla mostly is made up of Toreador, Tremere, Ventru, Nosferatu, Malkavian, Banu Hakim. The main ones are mostly... There's like 2 Toreadors listed. There's like 2 Ventru. Actually, there's 3 Ventru. 1 Malkavian. No Nosferatu. There is a Banu Hakim in there, which is interesting because they're still very new to the Camarilla, and not many people know what their presence is in Boston. but apparently there was one. And then the other were 3 Tremere. But there's been no Nas. You're not sure why on that, though, especially when you think about it. Like, there most likely are Nosferatu in the city. I'm going to say, though, have you met any? I'll leave that to your interpretation. But if they are in the city, they are doing a very good job of staying quiet and out of sight.
Johnny's gonna look at the bodies just for a quick second. What is everyone wearing?
They are all in very nice business suits. Professional. And
So
you
more-
would know that, and specifically Johnny would know, if you're going to do a professional job, you're going to dress the part.
Okay, that's even more alarming. And he's just gonna look at the claw marks. How big are they?
They are not. Ooh. Give me a second. What is on your sheet? That's a very good question, by the way. Do you have anything there? You don't. They look big. They don't look normal. This is the type of thing where it's left to right, literally. It's enough where if they weren't lying on the floor and they were standing, things would be falling out.
Did Aiden notice any sort of security system on the way in? And while he was searching for phones and they were destroyed, did he find any wallets or keys of any kind?
Weirdly enough, there are no keys on them. Their wallets have been emptied completely. Security system for the building should be on, but clearly the electricity's on the fritz. So,
Right. Oh, though, if I can figure out.
Oh, we lost our GM.
I wonder if he had a power outage, which would be really awkward right now.
Oh, a little of that premonition coming into play.
Oh no.
So
They
what
got
I
him.
what I'm thinking is if we can figure out when the power was cut, we can have a kind of an estimated.
Hi. Technical problems are the best. Gotta love computers. We were in. Oh god. We were in. So yeah, as I mentioned, their wallets are empty. No keys. Can't find any info on these guys. Johnny, again, what you notice is they're in very nice business suits. And you know from professional reasons, if someone was to do a job, they would look their best. And again, as you asked, there are claw marks on the chest. They are large. If they were standing up, there would be literal things falling out of them.
I have a theory.
What are you thinking, Johnny?
Someone or something was watching these two. Here's my theory. These two came in first to go after this one. And then all three were caught off guard by whatever the fourth thing came in.
Huh. I mean, it makes sense. Best time to attack someone is when they're attacking someone else and their attention's off defense. So my question is, with the disappearance list, is that these guys' fault? Or whatever did this, was it their fault?
Well, first, I just want to mention, I think it would be a little odd. Are we suggesting that the two that have died are going after us in some way? Is that your first suggestion?
Incendiary rounds suggest that either A, this person is guarding them, but it doesn't seem like... Actually, let me confirm one thing. Josephine.
Yes, yeah.
Your charge, did they have security around them? Anyone you knew?
No, Alif never needed security. They were actually, of all things, they were actually a forever student at Harvard.
So we can eliminate possible friendlies, especially with incendiary rounds made to kill us.
Yeah, those are, and do you have them visible?
Oh, yeah.
Incendiary rounds? Those, she just looks at like those, no, those are not friendly. In fact, that's my first time seeing one up close. I can't, Jesus.
But what's your guess, Shane?
Well, I find it a little odd that a couple of hunters would hunt vampires at night.
Decent point. Based on the amount of casings that were left, is there a way I can find if any of the bullets hit the wall? Maybe recreate the scene a bit, who was aiming at what?
With your I'll just go off your wits plus awareness roll, because 3 is enough.
Okay.
There are no holes in the wall.
So every shot hit what it was supposed to, most likely, or flew out the window that was broken open.
Actually, that's when you notice, you look at the gun itself, it's fully loaded. None of the shots went off.
Oh, we did find a gun. I think I missed that somehow.
Yeah, Johnny found 2 guns, and they're both fully loaded. So not a single shot went off.
But there are casings.
No case. Yep.
Oh, no
cases have
casings.
not been those cases.
Oh, my
sorry,
apologies. I completely
you're good.
the scene wrong.
When Johnny looked through it, those cases had never been used. They were fully loaded. This gun has never been fired yet in this room. There are no bullet holes in the wall.
Huh.
What if they were making a deal with the hunters?
Ooh, I did not consider that. But then, what about the journal and the... I guess...
What if they were working together?
If you read it backwards, it is kind of like a hit list, maybe?
They were meeting possibly to discuss the disappearances. being a part of it together, and then somebody interrupted their meeting and took them all out?
My biggest thing is the door. Why was that cleanly cut then, if that was the case?
Was the door like ripped off its hinges or anything like that?
The
No,
front
but
door when you went through it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was the lock was forced, so someone brute forced it to get in. Whether they were hiding and waiting for everyone to come back, or whether they did that and rushed upstairs and did this, or I don't know. But yeah, these two, pointing at the mortals, I don't think they could. I guess they could have some effort, but I can't imagine our fellow here just kind of sitting and hunkering down and waiting for the end to come.
If
Aiden.
looking at the message on the wall,
Yep.
does it look like it was finger painted, done with a brush? Like,
God,
how did they make?
I love that I'm about to say roll craft plus something else.
Craft, yay!
Actually, I won't do that because that doesn't make a lot of sense. No, actually, that does make sense, and I like making weird rolls happen, so that would definitely be craft plus. God, what would that be? Dexterity sounds weird, but I think I like that. Craft plus dexterity.
You can make this real tough.
I like weird rolls. They're always fun.
No, nothing.
Nothing? You're not sure. That said, the thing you can point out is it's actually really well written. It's clear as day what its message is. It's not like horrible chicken scratch. It's clear as day. For Aiden, though, do you still have the notebook, or did you give it to Josephine? I think you gave it to Josephine, correct?
I thought I had the notebook.
I gave.
Oh,
it
you have the notebook. So I'm going to let you. So you see this. You see the dates, all that. You actually flip the page. And what you see is kind of sporadic writing everywhere. That's just kind of like, the best way to describe it is I'm going to say this out loud, the meme that is of Charlie Day and It's Always Sunny pointing to the map that has all the lines everywhere. Just like, it's the thing! In the center, circled multiple times, is a very bizarre name. And when you look at this name, you see the claw marks. You start kind of piecing in your head, like, is this connected? Because if so, it's unnerving as fuck. She has some name down. You've never heard of it. You could pass the notebook around if you want to see if the others have. The name is called Mr. Scratch.
Mr. Scratch. Has anybody ever heard of a Mr. Scratch?
Have I?
Heard of a Mr. Stab, even a Mr. Crusher. Yeah, also a Mrs. Crusher. Nothing but a scratch.
Scratchy's a guy I used to case joints sometimes, but I don't think he goes by Mr.
Mr. Scratch was my father.
I would say for the sake of it all, none of you have ever heard that name before. But it doesn't sound nice at all.
Ooh.
That's when, because Jane has heightened senses, your hearing picks up someone's walking up the stairs.
Someone's coming up the stairs. Johnny, you wanna?
If you will, Miss Rowe, follow me.
And
Johnny, could I have one of the guns?
Why do you want one of the guns?
I know how to use it, and I'm scared.
I swear, if you, he just takes two of the stars and just hands him the gun. Also, these are not for boons. These
are a currency.
Gold
They're coterie currency.
Coterie currency.
Oh
God,
my.
okay.
Well,
He's just gonna
that's
go to
canon
Dewey, bro.
Used available 10-year
The
at.
steps for Jane specifically sound loud. For the others, you don't really hear someone walking up the steps.
Okay, Johnny, go to the door and see who is coming, please.
I'm already halfway there.
Okay.
When you get to the door, you see a sort of figure in the twitching light walking forward. And eventually they not enter the room, but you're stopping them enough, but you can see that the light hits their face. They look very ordinary. There's nothing interesting about them. They have on maybe a nice jacket, but they look at you in a very knowing way. Mr. Angel, she has tried calling you multiple times. I'm here on behalf of Fiorenza.
Oh my god! What are you, what are you, your insurance company? Business.
And that's when you notice he has a firearm out in front of him, and he just stares at you like, "Can you please follow me so we can make contact?" And that's where I personally want to end tonight, unless you have something you want to say.
He's already dialing. By that time, he's just gonna hit the speed dial button for Fiorenza.
Yep. And with that, I'm actually going to end in a different way. Roisin, you have a moment where you're taking all this in, and then everyone around you fades away. And you just hear that fucking disturbing whistle that is for the literal song Don't Worry, Be Happy, as you hear claw marks in the background scraping against a wall. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Oh, that's even better. Two creepy things happening at the same time. Let's go.
Yeah, that plus tech issues on my end. That was fun. That gave me
It's all right. I have a gun now. Everything's going to be fine.
Oh God.
We're all dead.
Despite me having a tech problem in the middle of all this, thank you as always. That was wonderfully spooky because, hey, it's October. Scares are fun. We will go around the table and let my wonderfully fantastic players introduce themselves once again, starting with Rachel D.
Oh geez, that's me. Hi, I'm Rachel Beauregard. Hi, I am an actor. You can find me every other Thursday here on the Initiative Order, playing in a Mork Borg campaign, which is really awesome. You can find my personal Instagram at Manic Pixie Tank Girl. You can follow my design account at Bad Duck Design. And yeah, I'm very pleased with the controlled chaos of tonight. So I think everyone's doing very well.
Yeah. Plus, you got a snack in. That's always fun. Little nibbles.
Little salt minis.
Next up, Krow.
Hi, I'm Krow. You can find me everywhere. XROW, KROW. This episode was awesome. I'm finding out, and I didn't even get to fuck around. That's that we love to see it. Yeah, and I have a few things starting up, so follow the doobly-doos for more information. Secret stuff is happening this month and next month.
Love secret stuff that's happening. Next up, Rachel J.
Hi, I'm Rachel J. Wilkinson, and we are in the midst of releasing Port Saga. So, if you can't get enough Vampire here and want to hear more audio fiction, please go to any podcast player and look up Vampire the Masquerade Port Saga. You can also follow me on Twitter at Ray J. Wilkinson. And yeah, my character enjoys licking things with her brain, so this is going to be fun.
And buying new cars. Because by the time we get out of there, it's going to be an SUV, and Aiden's going to get a seat. Yeah, it also has really large trunk space, so hey, worst case scenario, things work out. Speaking of Aiden, Tsai, which also welcome back.
Hey, glad to be back. Hi, I'm Tsai. Had a lot of fun tonight playing Aiden, getting back into the mix of things, disappointing our parental figures and getting into nonsense with Jane as usual. But yeah, this is really the only project I'm currently. The other ones I've done have already finished. But so if you are doing anything fun and you need an extra person, I may be available. But you can follow me on the links posted in the chat, and I'm looking forward to the next time we all can get together. And I do have training in firearms, so I probably won't kill someone.
It's true. As for myself, hello again. My name is Nate Bushman. I had tech problems. Hey, I was your storyteller this evening. I'm a portrait and product photographer, occasional performer and writer, and storyteller for games such as Vampire, Cyberpunk Red, and a few others. Outside of that, I have a game coming up the first Sunday of November. It'll be the first session for the Blade Runner RPG that I'm running. We'll be running the starter set called Electric Dreams. It's really cool. It'll be over on Cybernation Uncensored. Outside of that, I'm just going to be here doing this wonderful horror game, trying to scare the hell out of all of you because it's October. We kind of need that. If you like, follow me on Twitter, Nate_B, Instagram at IndieNate, INDIE Nate, or check out my photo stuff, natebushman.com. Always down for collaborating. Hey. And before we go, quick shout out to all our lovely sponsors. Session Zero Clothing, fantastic D&D inspired streetwear at checkout. Use code ORDER for 15% off your purchase. Next up, Norse Foundry, stellar artisan dice makers at checkout. Use code TIO15 for 15% off your purchase. It's funny reading these sometimes because I sound like I'm doing the most wonderful book reading ever. It's the most beautiful sounding thing. Next up, Mithril Armory, makers of the amazing Tin 20s and sketch dice at checkout. Use code INITIATIVE for 10% off your purchase. And next up, the wonderful, excellent, fantastic Umbral Oculus dice, gorgeous handmade dice, made by the wonderful eldritch entity that is Terran Hackett. Wonderful human being. Use code INITIATIVE for 10% off a full set of dice. And finally, as always, we are the Initiative Order, are proud ambassadors of Jasper's Game Day. Fantastic nonprofit organization aims to raise donations and awareness around suicide prevention and all that. Awesome organization. Again, I've talked about it the past 2 times. It's great to just see stuff like that out there doing good in the world. And hopefully next time we play I Don't Have Tech Problems, because that actually scared me, even though I was reading scary stuff to all of you. So until next time, especially with someone wanting to talk to you, Johnny, and a room of literal horror, until next time, the only way I could think to end it, by the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Good night.